Outer Orange.
Welcome back, guys. OuterOrange here. We got the ban list. We're gonna go ahead and talk about it. So there's definitely a lot of mixed feelings between people, and I thought I'd do my usual, give you guys my thoughts on it. I actually even have a little bit of like a page for it just to talk about why they made the hits that they made, so we'll go look at that as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So here we have the heated discussion of good old ban list. Let's do it. So for V, there were no changes, which was pretty much expected. I feel like V hasn't had enough stuff to actually ban something or touch something, so I brought up in my ban list predictions that in the future there may be something to target, but I think right now we're in a pretty good spot. I will say if we get no new product, I think there may be some restrictions that need to be put, but I don't know. A lot of this could be just solved if we just get more product. I also talked about this in my last video as well. It's standard, so we had a couple stuff change. This is one of them. So basically this was kind of like a copy of the JP ban list, which I think most of us were expecting. Basically, again, Diva got restricted, Ballista got restricted, and I think this is fine. I know there's like arguments about like set 13 just being way stronger, so maybe this won't be that impactful, but I actually think this is a very healthy hit overall. I think this was needed. Decks are going to be stronger. However, I'm like almost positive that going into next year when we have like the new overdress kind of come in, I feel the old decks are still going to be pretty impactful versus some of the new stuff we're going to get, because I think what's going to happen is we're going to get like bad decks first, and then as the year goes we'll get stronger decks. So we're going to be in this meta for a while, and if we're going to be in this meta for a while, I'm okay with some stuff being tapped, so that way we kind of have like a gradual healthiness. This meta that we're going into is going to be pretty long, I feel, mainly because the new stuff I really doubt is going to be stronger than the stuff we currently have. So that's something just kind of keep in the back of your head. We also didn't have the collab sets. I think that's also a big factor into this. It does kind of change how our meta is versus how JP meta is. So we have just less decks that kind of deal with these decks. There is a little bit more, and I do want to talk about this part of the D restriction before we get to the premium side. It's the left side here. It's the Ava unrestriction. Some people were arguing, why did Jet not get unrestricted? Lo and behold, Jet has actually been doing really well on our side. Part of it probably has to do with the fact that we don't have the collabs, but because Jet has been performing well, I actually think the choice restriction on is perfectly fine. But we're getting more cards, we're getting more decks coming up soon, so we'll see if that changes or not. Ava getting the unrestriction I think will be nice. It'll make Ava probably have some performance again. I think the combat rusher works well with poison Ava, so that would probably be something good because it's a counterblast and a non-counterblast deck, so if people kind of change their builds around, maybe focus on Ava. I'm sure combat rusher will love that. So we'll have to see sort of how that works. Now let's go over to premium. The only restriction that premium got was this Narukami restriction right here. This was weird to me. I saw this and I was like, because honestly what I expected, I expected it to be just Murtoa. Only thing I expected to be hit, like legitimately hit, was actually just Murtoa, and like maybe there's a shot that maybe bugs would have been touched, but I like primarily thought they're gonna hit Murtoa. And the reason why is because this ban list was actually pretty quick in comparison to the last couple ones we've gotten. The last couple ones have been pretty delayed, and I thought like they might have seen the results recently with Ballista, and they're probably going like, oh, you know, loop deck, let's go, you know, let's get rid of that, you know. So I actually, the reason why I thought they were so quick to touch on this ban list, and even if you look at the date, it's, you know, 2 weeks from now, like my brain was like, oh, they must be wanting to hit Ballista. Like I actually thought that was gonna be the main target, kind of like they did last year when MFD was like dominating the format, and they were pretty fast on it. They just threw the ban list out and boom bam, it was gone. You know, that the trifecta was just broken up really fast. I expected something similar to happen in Ballista because I know they don't like loop decks. I know they're not a fan of that kind of stuff, so I was truly expecting to see Murtoa or something related to the loop decks to just like get just destroyed. And I was very surprised to find out that didn't happen. Instead we got the Narukami restriction. I know Narukami's been topping, and I did talk about this in the last video, but I also mentioned in the video that I actually don't know if Narukami is to be hit, and I also said that the thing to prioritize should be the Ballista stuff. So the fact that this got hit instead of Ballista is weird to me. It is what it is. I've been talking to some Narukami mains. They're already like figuring out decks around it. I don't think this hit was like insane for Narukami. I think they're still gonna be able to play the game and still kind of do their thing. As far as I know, some people are creating decks with the dragon, some people are creating decks without the dragon. They're just kind of messing around right now, so we'll have to see if this like truly impacts the meta. I don't really know. I did watch Maxine's ban list video, and he brought up something really interesting that is actually important to keep in mind. Like part of why Narukami is showing so many results is because people are coping on Ghidorah, which actually makes sense to me as something I didn't think about, because like I said, I haven't been competing as much in premium as I've been competing in V and D, so I know a little bit less in terms of like, you know, meta into meta matchup. Thinking about it, that adds up, right? So Narukami performing really well, it's part of it is because the deck's good, but it's also the fact that people are playing bugs. So this makes sense to me. So with that being said, like, did this need a hit? I don't know. That's why even when I mentioned it, I was like, I truly don't know if this deck needed to be hit. And that's why personally I thought Ballista was the target. I know the premium people are like kind of fuming, and I understand why. The Ballista deck is extremely not fun to play into. Probably one of the worst decks that has come out recently in terms of interaction. The deck just it sucks even more because some people are getting denied tops over this deck too, because it's not really like, I feel like if you're a Ballista player, I don't even know if it's like a good thing, because like you're really not playing to win sometimes, because you know the RNG of the deck. You're kind of just playing to not let other people not win, because that's basically what the deck does. It just, you hit the win con, you deny your opponent of the dub, cool. You don't hit the win con, you just fumble into pieces and die sideways, you know. So that's why I thought it was very strange that deck wasn't hit. But let's go look at this though. This is interesting to read because this made me even more confused about the premium hits, why they restricted what they restricted. So down here they basically said that the Diva and Ballista decks are known quantity going into Bushiroad Championship Series 2023, and they currently make about half of the decks in consideration for top 8 cutoffs, as both decks have put up consistent results across the board with high conversion rates and will be imposing restrictions on them. A lot of people brought these decks too, so they're talking about here in the period since the petition of the choice restriction in August this year, the usage rate for Ava decks has declined greatly, which is true, though there has been some results still, and the deck not seeing much competitive success. As such, they chose to lift the restriction, which is fair. They're discussing the point of the choice restriction of Soroa and Gigi. They said that the deck is still makes up a considerable portion of the decks in consideration of top 8 cuts. As such, we have decided to leave the choice restriction in place. Still, for us, our meta is a little different, just a little bit. It's different enough to where the Jets actually perform. Premium, let's talk about what they wrote here. Narcomi has continued to be a force to be reckoned with this season despite the restrictions imposed on the clan previously, which is that's true. Specifically, decks featuring the sweep command, imposing the restriction with the sweep command and the demolition dragon to limit the deck can occur. So that makes sense. They're just basically saying, okay, deck's been showing a lot of results. We don't really like that, so let's give it a little love. And then while here, they also wrote, while this is the only restriction being implemented this cycle, we are aware of the decks with consistent results and any decks with interactions that may end up being an issue in the future. While we have decided not to impose any restrictions on these decks at this point in time, we'll continue to monitor the situation for Mega Colony, Bermuda Triangle, Link Joker, Spike Brother clans, and take action if necessary to maintain a healthy tournament environment for all our players. This part was very hard to read. This contradicts itself so much for like multiple reasons. If you're trying to say that Bermuda Triangle with Melissa in mind is a healthy environment, then I don't know what to say to that. I really don't know what to say to that, because I think from a judge aspect, that deck is annoying. User enjoyment of the game, that deck is annoying. Testing wise, that deck is annoying. Topping competitive players, that deck is annoying. Casually, it's pretty annoying though if you just love sitting there doing loops, which I do. I like testing loop hands. I found out that I actually really enjoy that, but that doesn't change the fact that this deck needed to go, and it just doesn't. I don't see why in any environment how the Melissa loop is a healthy environment and just didn't get touched. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. The other stuff makes sense. Not touching Mega Colony, not touching Link Joker, not touching Spikes because you want to wait to monitor more. That makes all sense to me. I don't even know why Spikes is in here, to be honest. Though that deck is annoying. That's only one at high rolls. Like otherwise that deck can be pretty fair, to be honest. Link Joker I think is perfectly fine. I think Bugs falls into a similar category. The issue with Bugs is that it locks out, like, I think the RNG is randomly higher. Maybe it's just my testing. Like, I really struggle into Bugs sometimes. It doesn't matter what clan I'm on. I know there's some clans that are off by it, obviously like Grand Blue, but I've also played Bermuda Triangle, and sometimes I just sit there and go, oh, they went first, they high rolled, they just bashed my face and my skull in. I can't hold true to, I guess I just lose here. Like, it's just random stuff that I can't control. And this statement actually made it even harder to understand why Melissa wasn't touched. But alas, I don't know, it's the ban list. It's one cycle. We have 4 more coming next year. We got a bunch of time. Just to make it clear, I think just making clear, I'm not like upset or anything. I just think it's weird. I just, based off what is being told here, it feels very contradictory of itself, but you know, whatever. Last minute thoughts, I do think the D stuff is actually perfect. I do believe that everything that was, the decisions were made was exactly what should have been made. I think they're fine. I think they're good. I definitely think it was the right choice. It's good. The V stuff was also good. I know some people think this ban list is really bad. I actually don't agree with that. I think aside from premium, the ban list is actually perfectly fine, and the premium ban list wasn't terrible. I just feel the Melissa deck really should have gone. I understand people's harp about it. If you have any feelings, thoughts, or anything below, feel free to let me know how you feel, what you've been going on. You guys went really crazy with the ban list predictions, which was really awesome to read and really get to see other people's opinions of what people wanted gone, people didn't want gone. Overall, it was really nice to see the discussions kind of go through. So video hours at shop if you need anything. We do have set 13 coming around in about a month, so you got some time to pre-order some stuff. I'm gonna leave now, so peace out. That's Vidani. I'll see you guys in a future video. Bye.